So if this is what it takes to form a team who can tackle innovation challenges, whether they're social in nature or commercial in nature, then the folks who participate in the D.school are faculty and students from all these different disciplines. So that comes back to the D.school, and are we technically a school? Stanford has 7 world-class schools on campus, like this School of Engineering, School of Medicine, the Business School, the Ed School, on and on and on, if you can think of 7 schools. The last thing really Stanford needed is an 8th separate school, which is out here with a completely separate expertise. The president of our university is recognizing that multidisciplinary teaching and research is one of the biggest opportunities in front of Stanford. A lot of organizations are structured this way, around expertise. So the question is less about a new expertise and more about how do you, so we think of it more like a school crossing. How do you figure out ways to motivate faculty and students from these different places to work on projects that require the combination of their points of view? So we're more like an innovation space for the university. And it comes back to the students. We don't directly admit we don't admit students directly, and we don't grant degrees. Students and faculty at Stanford have to come from an existing program at Stanford. And then the D.school is an additional experience for them on top of their program requirements. So an example is, say you go through the student experience. If a student wants their center of gravity and expertise to be in business, they apply to Stanford's business school, and they leave with an MBA. If they want their expertise to be in sort of technology or analytical thinking, they apply to the engineering school, they leave with a master's of science in some engineering, and on in terms of social sciences. If on top of that core expertise, they want to learn how to collaborate with different disciplines, tackle big foggy projects that require innovation, then they participate in the D.school on projects. And if they do that enough projects, then we give them a little D.school Medal of Honor.
Okay,
and it looks
the kind of credit I get?
It's an honor. Here's the Medal of Honor. It's a little. This is our prototype of the current Medal of Honor. And the folks leaving the engineering school, if they participate, they get their Master's of Science in Engineering and a D.school Medal of Honor. So you can envision a day. So innovators aren't just isolated to one program. They come from all these different walks of life. So you can imagine a day at graduation. All the business leaders who are going out in the world, here's your MBA. Now the percentage of you who have chosen to take innovation as one of your areas of expertise, please stand and give you a little Medal of Honor. All the educators who are going out in the world to teach students, the percentage of you who want to lead in innovation, here's your D.school Medal of Honor. So it's on top of their core requirements. They're getting the full graduate degree plus all this stuff is elective. So the question is,
have extra costs for this?
No. So their tuition and all that other stuff is part of their being a Stanford student, and the D.school is available to them. If we're about creating students who are more confident in the ability to innovate, and they're coming from all these different disciplines, and the challenge is how do you get them to get along, and how do you get them to sort of experience what it's like to innovate? So we don't just bring these people together. We have a philosophy that we have found helps be the glue for this type of community. So we found design thinking, this process, is sort of a kind of glue that holds these teams together. It's sort of a way of working that's additive to their normal ways of working. It doesn't compete with any of their different expert methodologies. It helps synthesize their different points of view. So I'll talk a little bit about what design thinking is. But that in combination of, we have a very strong philosophy that you learn the best by doing. So it's all project-based learning. So you don't just, if what you want to do is figure out how to launch, what can you do to innovate in K-12 education, you don't just talk about it. You try things. You work on a real project. And and that's really when you learn what works and what doesn't. So let me use a little eraser. I'll talk a little bit about design thinking, then we can talk a little bit about projects. I'm going to keep this map up here. So, what design thinking in some ways is for us an interim term. So, it's sort of like we've talked sometimes around here, the emergence of the automobile. I don't know if you remember.